It's a double feature, baby. Yo, what's up and welcome back. Yes, back to Angel's Reach as always. I'm Angel, and today I've realized that the amount of films that are coming out and the quickness in which I watch them, uh, I really don't have a chance to suggest the movies when they're already out and stuff. Um, and I'm also not a film reviewer. Like I'm not like a film reviewer. Like I'm a film discusser. Really, I like to talk about films and why I like them and stuff like that. I feel like once you start like obviously like I compare them and stuff like that because I give them ratings and stuff. But I'm no film reviewer at all. There's a lot of stuff that I miss. A lot of stuff that I interpret my own way. Again, that's the name of the channel, Angels Reach. I reach for a lot of the stuff, and then that's like the reason like I like watching movies is finding ways to relate it to myself or just getting any message out of it in general. And so, all that to preface the fact that these two movies uh, I enjoyed, they came out recently. But I'm going to talk about each one individually, and I'll start off with the one that I think most people would rather enjoy or a little slightly accessible isn't the right word, but I feel like more people would appreciate it, and that is HOKUM. So, HOKUM is a 2026 gothic supernatural horror featuring Adam Scott and directed by Damian McCarthy. Now, I saw this as a double feature sort of thing because I went to go watch Mortal Kombat early, like just slightly like around noon with my friends, and then a few hours after that we killed some time and went to go watch Hokum as well because it was such a like lovely day out. So we decided to go sit in the theater. You feel me? No, we we were already outside and stuff, so we decided to make use of our Regal passes, and so we watched Mortal Kombat 2 and Hokum. Now the first one, Hokum, again, like I said, gothic horror. This is the second one we watched actually a little bit more into the evening, but I kind of liked it that way. It was a horror movie. Yeah, it's nothing. I think over the top, but I think it does really well in playing with eeriness. And I will admit, like initially, Adam Scott did not sell me as like the uh horror actor sort of thing. Like I know he's in Severance, and I know he's had probably some serious role like in drama and stuff like that. I said something similar to like Jason Segel in Over Your Dead Body. I didn't expect him to have like any like horror like scared chops, I guess. I don't know what the right word to say is for like fear, but I didn't expect him to play like a horror victim that well, like someone scared the whole time. I feel like he's more of like a either comedic relief or like a main character sort of take charge situation. So like seeing him kind of like in the main role as a victim, I didn't think that that would work, and I kind of don't think he did for like the beginning of the movie, but that's primarily because he's written as like an asshole sort of author, and he's not sort of a victim in the early beginnings of it. But when he's finding out about sort of the past and things he's uncovering at the hotel that he's staying at, and it sort of starts to make sense, and the character sort of finds himself along the way. But let me just discuss the plot of this super quickly if you haven't heard about it. Hokum is essentially the movie where a author played by Adam Scott goes to an Irish hotel where his parents had like a honeymoon, I believe he said, and he goes there, I guess, to write and distract himself, or as a getaway sort of thing, and spread his parents' ashes. That's also what it is. He went there to spread his parents' ashes, and he also is taking time to write and stuff like that. When he eventually finds out a lot of like messed up stuff about the hotel that he's staying in, and like mystery and like something about a haunting, and he becomes like entangled. I'm reading. I shouldn't have used the word entangled. This is exactly what the Google summary said, but yeah, it's he gets entangled in this sort of mystery, and they play really well into the eeriness and what you can't see. I know I say a lot when I talk about movies that, or when I talk about music specifically, people really hate a lot because they're listening for what it isn't. You know what I mean? Like they're comparing it to like Led Zeppelin or Beatles or like really great bands and great musicians and things like that. It's like, oh yeah, this R&B artist is good. It's no Frank Ocean, but he's good. You know what I mean? Like it's comparison is the thief of joy. And I feel like although I just compared Adam Scott to Jason Segel with their acting and stuff like that, what this film does and plays into with what you can't see matters a lot more. And that is something I really love. I think that horror is really tacky nowadays with jump scares and like obvious grotesque sort of like horror and gore and stuff like that. I think that like I don't know, true horror fans, I guess. I don't know. I don't consider myself a true horror fan, but I feel like people who are really into the genre, like they have sort of thicker skin, and you got to sort of play into like expectations and sort of play into what people already know and um what works and what doesn't, you know what I mean? For example, one of my favorite moments in the movie was towards the end when Adam Scott is looking down this elevator shaft, and it's like a few lights. You could see like a few floors of light, and then it goes into like, it sheltered. It fucking revels, is that the right word? It fucking concaves into like darkness, and you can just barely make out the outline of like a face at the bottom, and that creepiness, that eeriness, that idea of something maybe being there but not quite having an understanding of it and wrapping your head around it. I mean, the fear of the unknown is one of the biggest fears ever. I mean, the deep ocean, space, not knowing what's out there. I think people need to play into that more, and HOKUM does that so well. I think that it does strive to obviously go for like I was gonna say physical horror, but I mean like some of like there's one scene where Adam Scott is sleeping and he has sort of a nightmare of his childhood and watching a show, and there's like this bunny humanoid character that shows up, and that was super creepy, and I think it was expertly done because everything else in the movie is just like shadows and ghosts and following, and almost leading up to like the haunting where you actually see I mean like the physical forms of like all the ghosts like together in the shackles and everything all like that, like in the basement of the hotel where like the movie's climax sort of happens, and all the all the pieces sort of come together, and Adam Scott's realizing that he has to sort of accept a lot of the trauma he has. It's very Shining-esque. I didn't want to make the immediate connection because I'm not the biggest fan of The Shining. Actually, I love Kubrick, but I was not the biggest fan of The Shining. I could appreciate it probably for the time, but I just I mean it doesn't do it for me. There's a lot of films that have done horror and like eeriness and creepiness really well, and honestly, HOKUM actually does it better than I think The Shining does. Obviously, that is a crazy take. People will be like, "What? Shining's a fucking classic. You don't even know horror. You don't know shots. You don't know directorial and framing and stuff like that." And true, that is very true. What I do know is that HOKUM played very well into the darkness, into the shadows, into the ominous nature of horror, the unknown, and I think like especially with a protagonist as conceited as Adam Scott character was, as pretentious as up on his high horse. It sort of gives you that satisfying feeling of like, nice, this character should die. No, not should die, but it really like it makes you want to see what the next step is. Like you're simultaneously rooting for the guy because you want to see like what happens next, but you also want him, like he deserves getting any horror that comes his way because of how poorly he treats people and how much of an asshole he is and how again pretentious he is. He's a very good character to hate. Again, I'm sorry to compare this to Over Your Dead Body, another horror sort of dark comedy, I guess, a darker movie that happened not too long ago. But I mean, like just comparing, uh, just just what they aim to achieve and how they do it, I think it's super fun. I think again, the only gripe I really had with HOKUM was the beginning. I couldn't buy that Adam Scott was like amazed and like curious about this sort of world. Like I didn't think he was like interested at all. Like even when he was asking questions like during the murder scenes and stuff like that while that was happening, I was like, this guy didn't actually seem interested. And I think I just have like a knack for just, I think, overthinking actors, because like I thought the same thing in Marty Supreme. I was just like, I don't think this guy's heart in it, but everyone seems to agree that like he like that was his best performance ever. So I guess I don't know. I'm just like, there's just a veil of actors that like I just see doing, I just can't get through, can't get around. I don't know what it is, man. But yeah, I initially had a problem with Adam Scott acting originally, but as the movie progressed and as like the different elements and like different components to it came together and sort of just I mean, just snowballed perfectly into like a really interesting set of events. I did not initially enjoy this movie because not didn't enjoy it, but like I was a bit fatigued like about like an hour into the movie because I had like already watched a whole nother movie. We were rocking around, Raggy. We were walking around, and like just sitting in a theater, like and my thighs sticking to like the leather chairs and stuff like that. I was just a little bit over it, and also just. I don't know. I also went into it pretty naive because I was like another horror movie. This time with like Adam Scott. Like I haven't seen him like in other roles. Like he hasn't super impressed me, but like yeah, sure, why not? And a lot of my, I think a lot of my mutuals and people I've seen on Letterboxd and stuff have given this movie a good review. And so I was like, you know what, I might just check it out. There's no harm in like a little horror movie action here and there. Like honestly, honestly, a bad horror movie is actually kind of better than a good horror movie at this point. Just making fun of like how shit the horror genre has gone, and Scream fucking 5 is coming out, and that's just gonna be awful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. It's not for me. I guess I'm not the demographic for scary movie. I love the third one. I think I had some moments where I laughed at the first and second one when I was a kid. You know what I mean? But I guess it's very much so not for me. I just saw like ads and I just see like a shit ton of fucking ads for the movie, and it's just the most whack writing ever. It's just, oh my god, it's like almost a joke how bad it is. I'm starting to think that that's sort of the point. It's like it's so bad you start like you can't help but like laugh at it. It's just like, dude, no, like you know what I mean. But yeah, drawing comparisons to The Shining, it was really yeah. Look at that, look at Google telling me like what I already know. Yeah, I knew it was like I was gonna get some comparisons to the Shining just because author, hotel, you know what I mean, horror elements, trauma, and like their past and stuff like that. It seemed pretty on the nose. But again, I wasn't the biggest fan of The Shining. Actually, I went to go see it in IMAX. I think I talked about it not too long ago on the channel. I went to go see it in IMAX, but I didn't know it wasn't shot for IMAX. It was just adapted for IMAX. It was just whack. I mean, there were some really really beautiful shots occasionally, but like for the most part. I had already seen the movie, and it's kind of just like it doesn't really do it for me. So I'm sorry if you're a Shining apologist. I'm sorry if that's your favorite horror movie of all time. It's just I don't know. Maybe when I was a kid, I would have loved it, but I would have like gotten scared by it. But like we're older now. The concept of things are like I mean are kind of creepy, but I mean like come on, let's get over it now. Mortal Kombat 2 is the second movie I watched. Technically the first, but yeah, this is actually what me and my friends planned to watch initially. I was just like, let's go, let's do it, let's watch Mortal Kombat 2. I think it like there's a few good movies out right now and stuff. But I was pretty hard headed. I was just like, I just like want to watch like a fucking action. Like I just let's just get this over with. A lot of times I was treating like the movies like a chore. Like I just want to get this over with. But I promise you, it is just the action of going to the theater that I think is a chore because like I get movies for 50 cents, but I still have to pay $3 to get there and $3 to get back. So $6 a ticket essentially. Um, and 50 cents to pay, so I guess 650, you know what I mean? But Mortal Kombat 2 is the forced. Oh my god, I'm literally crashing out right now. I've never done a double feature on well, yes I have. I did like a whole section where I was talking about all the movies I watched in March. Oh my gosh, wait, April? Wait, no, movie. It doesn't matter. Mortal Kombat 2. I didn't watch the first one, I'll be honest. It's a sequel to the 2021 film directed by Simon McQuoid. This one, also directed by Simon McQuoid. That's awesome. I can't be asked to look at the fucking actors, I'll be honest. Like, this movie, I gave, I think I gave it 8 out of 10, honestly 7 out of 10. And then I gave HOKUM like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like it is a controversial take, but I think it was just because I was kind of fatigued when I was watching HOKUM, and now like kind of looking back on the Mortal Kombat movie, it's not as memorable. But when I was sitting there watching the Mortal Kombat movie, I did not expect much. Honestly, I expected like fighting, like some cool CGI, and then like occasional like jokes, like jabby jokes and stuff like that, quips and one-liners. I was pleasantly surprised with the amount of depth that they went into. Like, granted, it wasn't anything like like life changing or anything like that. I didn't like go out of this movie with like a message or believing in myself more or like anything like that, which like a lot of kids movies or like animated movies will try to do, or at least most like general audience movies will try to have like a like mass appeal, general like message, something super simple, and then just box office millions, you know what I'm saying? But I actually really enjoyed this movie. Like I from the beginning, getting Katana's background to Johnny Cage's sad, sort of like miserable, washed up actor life. and like the villain out. Oh my god, Aoshan. Oh my gosh, man, I'm bad with names, dog. Aoshan, but I know, like, I really loved him as a villain just because he was specifically not overpowered. He was getting his ass beat by Katana's dad for a minute before he actually ended up going sicko mode and, like, fucking him up. But I mean, like, he's a, I was gonna say down to earth villain. No, that doesn't make sense. But he's like not an insanely overpowered or not like a dumb dialogue driven villain. Like he's like just like a super sick evil dude that just like happens to get his way a few amount of times, and just like it's just super cool to go up against. And um I really, really had fun watching this movie. I felt like I wasn't on the edge of my seat per se because like the last, like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna it's just gonna seem like I have no attention span when it comes to movies. So I said this about Over Your Dead Body as well. But I mean, the last 30 or 40 minutes, I was just like wondering like where is this like gonna go, because I feel like we keep getting matches and we keep progressing the plot, but then they just keep throwing in like occasional like background information and lore about like the characters and stuff, and like that's cool. Like I absolutely loved when they introduced Bakasura and like wait, was it Baraka? Oh my gosh, I said Bakasura. That's a Smite character. I'm fried. Well, God, I guess I don't know where he's from, but he's from Smite. At least that's where I know him from. Baraka, I thought it was super sick seeing where he like seeing his village and seeing them fight, and like I like obviously there's a lot of homage. They pay a lot of homage to, I was gonna say Street Fighter, what the shit, Mortal Kombat. I mean, specifically what I really loved, what I really loved was the stage transitions. I thought that was such a good touch whenever they were fighting, because like a lot of the times, pretty similar to like how in the Mario Galaxy movie they sort of made it look like Smash, where they had them like they're like filling up the screen and they're on either side sort of attacking each other. I mean, that's all Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, like that sort of realm, like Tekken. I mean, the whole two-sided map sort of thing, like that's all Mortal Kombat, baby. So when they were doing stage transition where they were getting kicked into different places and getting like kicked into like a hut, or like thrown into somewhere like from below, like vertically or horizontally taken somewhere new, I was like, that is so fun. There, that is such a fun, you know what I mean, like not just like, yeah, you like obviously if you're watching the Mortal Kombat movie, odds are you played Mortal Kombat. So like seeing that, it's like, oh, like that's like a little stage transition, you know what I mean? But also, just the characters are super fun, you know what I mean? They like Johnny Cage was such a fun character to root for, because he's this like semi egotistical just human, you know what I mean? Like he's not like a superhero. It's very much so a Kung Fu Panda tale where he's like, yeah, there's no way I'm the Dragon Warrior, and then he ends up being the Dragon Warrior sort of thing. And it's like, I remember when he was talking to Raiden and he was saying something like, "Yeah, no, I'm not the chosen one," and Raiden was giving him a speech about like, "Oh, it's patience" or something like that. And I was like, "This is just Master Shifu and Kung Fu Panda," and him being like, "I'm not the one to win the tournament," and then he ends up, giving it his all and he wins it, or at the very least, like helps win it and stuff like that. Because if I'm not mistaken, what Katana ends up fighting for the other side and winning it for the Earth realm and shit. Earth realm, like it's not the world, the Earth world realm. Yeah, I really had a lot of fun watching this. I can't what's it called? I'm now looking back on it, I might bump it down to like a 7, just because of like I'm trying to think about specific scenes and none of them are exactly coming to me. Then again, I do have a little bit of Voda vodka in my system as well as a little bit of Pepsi. Cheers, my friend, shall we? No, but in all seriousness, I really wanted to dislike the movie. There was a lot of points. Ooh, I am out of focus, baby. There's a lot of points in the movie that did not help at all. Why did well okay, there we go. There was a lot of points in the movie where I was like, this is corny, or like no, there was a few points in the movie where I was like, this is corny, and there's even more points where I was like, I want this to be corny, or I want this to be shitty so I can hate on it. But it was just really a good time, you know what I mean? From um the characters' dialogue being funny to like the actual sequence of events keeping you interested, like dope fight scenes and like uh the lore of the characters, like the way, like their relationships and everything. There was a few characters I recognized from Mortal Kombat, obviously some that were new to me, that like I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat head or fan or anything like that. But just seeing how they reacted to each other and like with the stakes of the world and everything, the little bits of like quips that they had were like, I mean, not over the top. I loved uh the fight scenes as well. Again, just super fun. I just really enjoyed it, and I can tell Like, this is really, I mean, I feel like I would have loved this movie in middle school. Like, I would have thought this was like the coolest thing, you know what I mean? Like, cause it's mostly fighting, but then they occasionally drop like lore and like you find out why Katana, like you saw Katana's parents get killed in front of her, and like you see Johnny K. Ross up and you're like, oh my gosh, like he should be, like he's so much cooler and stuff. And then he has sick moments in the movie where he's like doing slides underneath Baraka and like fucking punching Scorpion in the nuts and stuff like that. And, oh yeah, another thing I didn't like. I kind of blocked it out of my memory, but the character with the laser eye was super forced, like British, you know, token character or like Irish character, I guess, you know what I mean? New Zealandy maybe. I don't know. I thought like the token foreigner character, like it can definitely be done well. I mean, like it's a whatever trope at this point, honestly. Like I guess diversity quota needs to be met, but I mean like his jokes were just so forced, and I could tell that they were trying to have like quippy moments, like like you know what I mean, to like end off scenes or like but oh my gosh, they just didn't work. They fell flat a lot of the times, but mostly like the I don't know. The delivery was super forced. Like he was really trying to get like, oh, do you want to know? You know, like it was like he was purposely trying to carve out a moment in the scene rather than like compliment the scene and like have it go along with it. I don't know. I don't know. When it comes to comedy in movies, I specifically am like. It's. I mean, they wrote it down. They rehearsed it a bunch of times. I'm sure that this is probably the best take that they got, and like this is what they wanted to accomplish with like the joke or like the line. And but oh my gosh, that was one of the like the worst parts of the movie for me was sitting through like his forced like quips and like it was really bad. That would actually, you know what, that was pretty bad. Actually thinking back on it, I remember getting pissed off at that. Like every time he was on screen, I was just like, oh my god, here we go. It's gonna be like some forced, not funny dialogue line that he's gonna deliver like it's funny, and like it's gonna be like they're gonna play it off like awkward, like oh haha, no one thinks that that's funny, even though it's a funny line and no one's reacting to it, even though it's not funny. That's why no one reacted to it. Oh my gosh, sorry. HOKUM didn't achieve to do much comedy either, but I mean, it did have like one or two moments where, one or two lines that I thought was pretty funny. Specifically, when Adam Scott got like approached to what's it called? Well, got approached by the fan and he burned his hand. I thought that was pretty funny, and he was like, "Yeah, don't meet your heroes." I thought that was pretty funny. But again, Mortal Kombat 2, I think it was a fun time. I definitely don't I wouldn't mind rewatching it. I wouldn't go out of my way to rewatch it or anything like that. I feel like I say that about most movies, but I mean, yeah, I had a good time watching this. All of the characters I think were fun. It was just a fun movie. They had a decent bit of depth, a bit of depth. I'm not gonna say a decent amount of depth, but they had a bit of depth to them. And then like it wasn't, you know what I mean, just CGI all up in your face. There was actually some decent fight scenes. For example, the Kung Lao versus Liu Kang fight scene. The ending was pretty stupid. Like he punched him and he just took that momentum and threw him into a saw. I thought that was dumb, but for the most part, the fighting was super sick. The fire, like the dragons, the teleporting. I mean, Kung Lao's hat. I mean, Kung Lao was my favorite character from Mortal Kombat. So just seeing the love he got was super sick. Seeing all the characters react and stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sounding like a broken record. I feel like there's not much to say about each movie. I guess I want to give more flowers to HOKUM actually, just because of uh, how easy it is for horror movies to go wrong, and like how simple it is for them to stick to a formula and be boring and go for jump scares or like try and get experimental horror, not exactly like hit the nail on the head. And I think HOKUM was super fun, interesting, creepy as all hell. Like yeah, I think I really recommend both movies, more so HOKUM than Mortal Kombat 2. But I mean, if you want like a dope action movie, you know what I'm saying, like sort of to cap off the night, I wouldn't scoff at it at all. So thanks for watching Angels Reach. That's freaking Film Friday episode. I don't even know what I decided to do a double feature because they're not coming out quick enough. I guess once a week movies, once a week film Fridays are not as quick as I thought they would be, but yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Definitely check out the movies. Let me know what you think about them, and talk later. Bye. Oh, whatever. I guess I forgot to say whatever. I usually end it with that.